Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are two performers who are going to be in the Cedar Rapids area very soon, but no strangers, either of them, to us. Gabriel Espinoza is here. Gabriel, welcome.
Hello, Dennis. Good to be here with you.
Yes, and just fresh off the release of your album with the big band, Mike Conrad's big band. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, I want to introduce singer Kiersten Conway. Kiersten, nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
The two of you are going to be performing at the Ideal Theater on June 14th. And for those who haven't heard or seen Kiersten for a while, Kiersten, you're an Eastern Iowa girl. You went to Solon.
That's right.
And you've been studying voice ever since. I know that you were at the Creston School for Music Vocations, and you are starting a new program this fall at North Texas.
I am. Get to go study with Jennifer Barnes and Rosanna Eckert.
That has to be so exciting. I mean, North Texas is generally regarded as one of the top, if not the top, jazz school in the entire country. So just getting in is quite a feather in your cap. So you must be very excited.
Yes, absolutely.
Gabrielle, before we talk about the gig coming up on the 14th, let's talk just a minute about the big band album, because all the tracks from that have been released. The EP is coming out for physical media for those. What's the reception been like?
I guess so far the videos have been doing great, and we can wait to release the EP, which is going to be June 1st. And then we'll have it out on video and on audio. So hopefully we'll get more listeners. We're really happy to share this music with the audience.
As you reflect back on those sessions, the videos are very fun to watch. Talk for just a minute about the experience of seeing your songs come to life in the big band idiom, because over the years, you know, you've performed yourself and in small groups, and seeing those in a big band had to have been a lot of fun.
It was like a dream because, like you said, most of my music is for small group. And then when we decided to arrange those tunes for big band, I knew they were going to be great. But when we got to the studio and they started recording the tracks, I was inside the booth. But then I said, no, I need to go inside where they're recording because I need to hear it the way they're hearing it. And it was the most amazing sound that I've ever heard in my life, to be able to hear it. Such a great big band with great players, with a great arrangement. And me being in this inside the studio where they were recording my music, it was just an amazing experience.
We love all the tracks. We're playing them here on KCCK, having a grand old time with them, and looking forward to the release of the official EP as things go on. So congrats again on that project.
One more thing. Finally, the release, the EP is going to be released, and the title of the release is a name that a friend of mine suggested. He told me you should call this EP Maya Roots, and that friend was you.
You make it sound like I had so much knowledge heading in. What I did was not realize that that wasn't the title, and I started calling it that last time we spoke, and I guess the name just kind of stuck.
It was right there. So I love it. I love it. Perfect. My Roots is coming out.
Excited to have the two of you back in Cedar Rapids coming up on the 14th. Now, those who were at a concert that we saw you at a few years ago, it was an outdoor concert in downtown Cedar Rapids, right near Cobble Hill. Got to see both Gabrielle and Kiersten on stage together. But Kiersten, you were very much kind of a background vocalist in that one. For this show at the Ideal coming up, you are standing out in front. This is very much your show.
That's right. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Tell me how the two of you started working together. Kiersten, when did you first meet Gabrielle?
Yeah, so, well, I first met Gabrielle, I would say, in the spring of my senior year of high school when I went to go audition at Central College in Pella, Iowa. And I first met him and got to audition for him, and I ended up going to study with him at Central College for a year. And that's how I really got close with Gabriel, and I studied with him for a year and then I ended up transferring just because things at Central weren't exactly what I wanted for my career, but I got to study with him for a year and haven't stopped since.
When you talk about your style, as a vocalist? I'm always especially interested with new vocalists coming on the scene, and everyone always goes back to the Great American Songbook. That's where all of the jazz singing tends to begin and live to a greater extent. But what do you bring into this that is unique to you and, your outlook and somebody coming up who is new to the Great American Songbook?
I would say that I lean definitely more towards a contemporary jazz vocalist, and in my songwriting style as well, I find myself gaining a lot of inspiration from the Great American Songbook, but also some great contemporary vocalists and just current jazz vocalists, which I take a lot of inspiration from. But I also consider myself a soprano, which isn't very common. As a jazz vocalist, a lot of jazz vocalists are specifically females, altos, and so um, I I would say that my voice is different in that way, where like the Aubrey Johnsons of the world, where I really strive for that soprano sound. Even though I'm a jazz vocalist, I still strive for that higher sound, which is different and not super common in the jazz vocal world, but something I find different about myself and that I strive for.
Gabrielle, you have done a lot of work with jazz vocalists, and some of the top jazz vocalists in the world regularly come and do concerts with you at Noche. And of course, you travel to New York too to perform with them as well. Talk to me a little bit about what makes Kiersten special.
The main thing of Kiersten Conway is I see a musician, first of all, not only a singer. I see a musician that is like a sponge. She's in her early 20s, maybe 21, I don't know, somewhere there. But since she left high school, I think I could see that she had something really clear, which was I want to learn as much as I can learn to become a musician and a singer. So that's why, she went to SMV for 2 years, where you do learn a lot of stuff, not only singing, you learn arranging, you learn composition. So she writes her own songs, she sings her own songs, she stretches the range, and she's always learning, always looking for places to go and listen to people. In fact, last week we both went to Des Moines to a great concert at Hoy Sherman, and always finding places where you can learn from people. And it takes time. It takes time to make your own signature sound. And she's in that process. She's not there yet, of course. She's still very young, but she's a very hungry and dedicated student that is just pursuing this career seriously. She didn't tell you that she just spent 1 year at Eastman School of Music. She's kept that. So from SMB to Eastman, now she's to North Texas. So she has a very clear idea of what she wants. And she's building her voice. She's building her style. So she's growing as we speak.
Kiersten, you talked about your own writing. The show that we'll see on the 14th, what will be the approximate, and you're probably still working on it, but how many originals, how many favorites, what does your show look like?
It's looking like a lot of Gabriel's originals, and as well as a lot of his arrangements, and then a couple American standard songbook tunes as well, which will be fun. But yeah, definitely featuring a lot of really cool original music of Gabriel's, and yeah, really excited to sing on it.
Gabrielle just said a whole bunch of nice things about you. Tell me what you like about working with him.
Absolutely. Right from the start, I knew that I would get my butt kicked by him in the best ways possible. I first got to Central and started studying with him, and I could just tell that the mindset that he was in as a just as a mentor was to not be your best friend, but to make you who you want to be as a musician and as a human being. And I think that's what I loved so much, was because I could tell that he still like cared so much, but he didn't necessarily baby you. And I think that's something I respect so much about him, is just like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. And I really grasped onto that mindset when I continued on to SMV and then past that as well. I mean, like, I still really admire that so much about him, and just his his want to make you grow wherever you want to grow. Like I took a couple bass lessons from him while I was at Central, and then I continued taking bass lessons when I went to SMV. And I started taking a ton of instrument lessons. I mean, I wanted to play drums while I was at Central, and then he was like, go play drums. And so I took drum lessons at SMV, and it's like, he isn't the type of person to be like, no, you have to stick to your one thing because your one thing is what you need to be good at. He allowed me to grow in the mindset of I can do so many different things, and that will help me grow so much. And like he said, we really relate on the fact of we want to grow in a way of going to listen to live music and things. And he just provided me so many opportunities, not only to perform, but to watch live music in the world while I was at Central and beyond. And he's just an absolutely amazing mentor. And although I only studied with him for a year, I continue to study with him in so many ways, and I know I will forever. So
At what point did the two of you decide that even though you didn't have a student-teacher relationship at Central College anymore, but that you were going to continue to collaborate and work together? Was that a conscious decision, or did it just kind of happen? Gabrielle?
I'll tell you, I don't lose track of my students. No, especially when they pursue music, I'm always following what they're doing, always aware where they are, calling them, trying to see them if I can, and inviting them to perform with me if I can. So, it's I learn from them. They continue helping me grow. That's how I continue growing through my students. So I see them like we both win. It's a win-win situation.
Who's going to be in the rest of the ensemble that's going to perform with you at the Ideal?
Mr. Tim Crumley on drums, Mr. Dave Coverdell on trumpet, Mr. Brian Schumacher on saxophone, Nick and Steve Griezmer on guitar.
This is what some of us kind of think of as your Ashanti lineup.
Basically, that's what it is. It is. This time we invited Kiersten to immerse herself into the Gabriel Espinoza repertoire.
Okay, Kiersten,
Nick,
what's your favorite Gabriel Espinoza song?
ooh, we're not doing it on the gig. So sorry, but Gabriella is my favorite Gabriel Espinoza tune. I love that one.
Okay, favorite song that you're doing on this gig?
All right, let me think. I mean, I love his arrangement of Close to You, but also probably Encuentro Maya is probably one of my favorite ones.
Gabrielle, you started to say something too before I continued to quiz Kiersten on her knowledge of your songbook.
That's okay. First of all, Nick Ruckert is the name of the piano player. Yeah, and what happened with Gabriela, one of the reasons we're not doing Gabriela is because Gabriela doesn't have lyrics. That's why we recorded that with Mike Conrad. So this time that I'm bringing Kiersten with us, I'm giving her some songs where she can sing lyrics. So maybe there's a couple of them that we're not doing lyrics, but most of them, they're lyrics. So whatever she sings, she sounds great.
Kiersten Conway, Gabriel Espinoza, and friends appearing at the Ideal Theater in Cedar Rapids on the 14th of June. Tickets for the concert are available in advance at idealtheaterandbar.com. So great to have you back in Eastern Iowa, Kiersten, for you to come back home. It's always great, Gabrielle, to have you in our neck of the woods, too. Noche doesn't get all the good shows. That's always a good thing for us to get some here in the eastern side of the state as well. Looking forward to this one a lot. And Kiersten, good luck this fall in your new program, and hope to talk to both of you again sometime soon.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
You can hear The Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.